I believe you can have it all, and you don't have to struggle to get it. If life feels hard, your tasks seem impossible, or you just don't like the options laid out before you, I promise you there is a better way. My name is Melanie McSally, your Better Way architect, and I welcome you to the WyzeCast Show. Today's guest is SueZee Finley, who has been using her powers of sound healing to heal herself and others. Today, she is here to teach us about sound therapy and how we might use it to find our better way. Welcome, SueZee. It's so great to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
I'm super excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So on the WyzeCast Show, we are bringing awareness to different modalities, teaching our community about these modalities to help them find their better way. So if life seems hard, if they don't like their options or the task in front of them seems impossible, then perhaps your modality will help them find the way that will bring them more joy, more freedom, and they can do with ease and grace. So what modality would you like to teach us about today?
Sound therapy, my absolute favorite on earth.
Nice. So what is sound therapy?
Sound therapy, oh, for me, it's very inclusive of a lot of different things. And this is what I actually learned when I first got into sound therapy. I thought it was just acoustic equipment. So my first experience was on an acoustic sound table, very high tech, tables vibrating, the headphones are vibrating. And I was very intrigued by that. And I bought every piece of equipment out there. Then I joined the sound therapy school. It was a 3-year program. And my very first class, the teacher came out and she goes, of all the tools in your sound healing toolbox, your voice is the most important. I'm like, what? Could someone have told me that like $30,000 ago? What? So I became obsessed. So as I was in this school, every month we were on a different topic. And first it was, like working with tuning forks. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And I was so excited. And the next thing we learned about color, I'm like, oh my God, this is the great thing, the most amazing thing, because everything has vibration, the color, the water you drink. We did a whole thing on water. Water is amazing. So to me, it encompasses so much. And why I like it, I call it when you're doing everything, when you're putting the right color in your life and the right, you're drinking the right water and you're listening to the right music, it's a party for your senses. And when you can live in that field with all these beautiful things and your body's in harmony, you naturally stay healthy. And that's why I love it, because I feel like there's no work involved. It's pure joy, pure fun, and it makes you literally dance through life, because I tell people to pick like a playlist that's your happy playlist, and you literally dance through life. That's why I can go on and on forever.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits, like why somebody might use it for their better way. So you talked already about health. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, so the main thing is that I always say sound frees you. And I call things like getting your freedom note. So the reason my first treatment that I ever got completely changed my life, I had no idea that we were vibration. I just thought we were biochemical beings. I completely missed the part that we're magnetism, light, and electricity. So when I was sick and I had lupus, they said, well, you're always going to be weak. You're always going to have this brain fog. It's a lupus thing. Your adrenals are completely exhausted. You can't really recharge them. And I believed it. And I was really suffering. My first time on a sound table, I'm never going to forget this. I was at a show. I was about to pass out. And I'm like, there's no place to sit. What am I going to do? And I saw this guy in the back. He had a sound table. Didn't know what it was. I walked over there, just about to pass out. And I land in his chair, and he hands me a microphone. And I'm like, what? Like, I just want to lay down on the table. And he goes, no, just talking to it. And I was so weak, I could barely talk. But I finally got a couple of sentences out. He put me on this table. All I remember is that I was listening to this music, and I felt like sound bubbles were coming in and like grasping, like the unprocessed grief, the anxiety, all the things I had been going through as 15 years as a caregiver was being wiped out. And my brain, for the first time, felt clear. And my shoulders are always like this because I was tense. If anyone that's caregiving for elderly parents and taking those hospital runs 3 o'clock in the morning, you live like this every time the phone rings. My shoulders came down. And this is just a 20-minute treatment. And I got up and I'm like, what just happened? And he goes, well, and I took the reading of your voice. your voice is the composite of all the frequencies in your body. I simply gave you back what you needed. He goes, frequencies and nutrients for your body. And then he's like, it's like a tune-up. And I'm like, and then he handed me this piece of paper, and on the piece of paper were all the things that vibrated my frequency: colors, gemstones, essential oils, my foods, the supplements. And then he gave me 2 CDs. And I remember thinking, it's 2 CDs and the music that I had listened to. Is this a prescription to go shopping? Because there's like all these fun things, like buy this, not buy this color, but wear this color, get this essential oil. And I was in this big vending area, and I'm thinking, this is like my prescription to go shopping. Best prescription ever. Because the prescription I got from my doctor said it could cause blindness. And I never took it. So I'm thinking, this is my way to heal. And my ticket to buy everything I wanted. So I was running around this vending area like a maniac. And the first thing I bought was this giant singing bowl. And it was in my note, because he told me I needed the note of G. And I felt so good. I was actually carrying this bowl around. The guy's like, I can keep it here. I'm like, no. I want to carry it. And I felt like a kid trick-or-treating. I was going from table to table, and I'm like, oh, they told me to wear green. Here's this beautiful green scarf. He told me to buy an emerald, and there was a table that had uncut, not cut, like raw emeralds that was needed to be like wire wrapped, and I know how to wire wrap, so I bought that. And I felt like a kid trick-or-treating. And at one point I looked down in this bowl, and I'm like, I want to be a sound therapist. I want everyone to feel like I feel right now. And it was kind of like, if it was a movie, it'd be like, the bowl would have been singing. But it was that profound for me. And the really funny thing is, my whole life, when people would say, like, what do you do? Like, I was a sculptor, I was a teacher, and it never just flowed. I never said I'm a teacher, I never said I'm a sculptor. But that night we went out to dinner with all the people from the show, and they go, oh, what are you? I'm like, I'm a sound therapist. And it just like flew out of my mouth, and I'm like, what? So I felt like I was born to do this.
Nice. So you touched on so many things, and what I heard, because I heard them differently than you said them, just like most people, right, is that the sound sort of like released the stuck energy from your body and put in the new energy, good energy, to replace, replenishing you with what you needed. So that's one really good. So do you still have lupus? I don't even know much about
it. And this is the thing too. So the more like you learn about diseases like lupus and Sjogren's, it's a label. So they're labeling a bunch of symptoms. But if you go to Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, they go, your body's out of balance, right? Basically, you're out of harmony. And that's what sound does. It puts you back in harmony. So when people say, oh, does it cure cancer? Does it cure this? It doesn't cure anything. It's putting you back in harmony, and you cure yourself. We all were born with everything we need to heal. But we get out of harmony. And especially, I get very upset. I know a lot of people on antidepressants. They don't help you. They keep the energy stuck, and they numb you. And you're not enjoying life, and you're not getting rid of the problem. But when you do sound and you do things to harmonize yourself, it releases it, and you're getting rid of that stuck trauma. And they really linked just about every disease is a cause of stuck trauma, grief, anxiety. And as a society, we're not taught how to get rid of it. As a matter of fact, we're born with everything we need to know to do it. And if you think about being little, we were doing everything right. Like if you were having a bad day, you threw a tantrum, right? It's the best thing for you. It's like, you're like, right? But the animal kingdom, like if you see like a gazelle being chased by a lion, right? And it gets away, but then like it collapses, right? And then it like shakes everything off, and then it gets up and it's fine. It's getting rid of like all the extra cortisol, all the fight and flight response. But we don't do that. We're taught, oh, something happens, like you be quiet about it, and that goes inward. And it blocks a lot of things. And I was always confused, like growing up. My mom had 2 friends that their husbands had passed away, and maybe like 5 years later, they got lung cancer. I'm thinking, that's weird. They never smoked. And in Chinese medicine, you learn that the lungs are the organ of grief. And I'm always thinking how when, you're always kind of taught, like when you're at a funeral, be quiet, like don't make a scene. And as like the wife, they're like, oh, she was so brave. She didn't cry. She didn't. And they would kind of build people up for not reacting. But you need to react, you need to cry, you need to release, and this is why people get sick. And so as a society, we're stifling all our natural abilities to self-regulate. And that's what sound does. It's a method of self-regulating.
Yeah. I remember when I first started public speaking, we were just talking about this, right? When I first started public speaking back in 2019, I was sharing a story of being bullied for 13 years straight.
Oh,
And and one time I was in Florida doing my public speaking thing in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and things like that. And my mom drove down to see me. She wanted to like see the performance. She
oh,
wasn't sure what it was all about, so she wanted to like come see. And so I get up on stage and I do my talk and I get off stage and she's like, "I didn't know that. How come I didn't know that?" And I was like, well, we were raised to like not complain about our struggles, to just like take it on the chin and talk about like our blessings and our good things in life. And she's like, I would have done something about it. And I was like,
oh,
you know, and I don't harbor anything against my parents. It was not their fault. But it's just a testament to how easy it is to create these beliefs that unintentionally cause damage,
yeah,
because I could have led a completely different life if I had just told somebody, if I had just released and mentioned that this was happening, you know what I mean? But I didn't know any better. And then later on in life, I shared this on a previous show. Later on in life, when I was a teenager, I got into a horrific car accident, broke my back in 7 places.
oh my God, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
Whoa.
compression fractures. And the doctor was orthopedic surgeon to the Celtics. And at the time, me and my dad, huge fans. And so it was like, oh, we're gonna go get to see the doctor that does the backs of the basketball players in Boston, And and so he told me that my back would be broken for life, that I needed to work out for the rest of my life to keep it from fusing, from my spine, from compressing. And I was like 15, 16 years
Oh my
old.
God.
So I just believed him as an authority figure and was like, oh, I got to work out for the rest of my life. And it became my identity. I became a competitive athlete and I worked out every day and all the
Wow.
things. Yeah. And then I went to this personal growth seminar and was in horrific pain, which happened all the time because I lived at a constant like 7, 8 in the threshold of pain. But every now and again, it would feel like a 15, on a
Oh my
scale from 1 to 10,
God.
and I wouldn't be able to get out of bed. And so I was at this personal growth retreat and I was having one of those moments. I used to call it the picking up the feather moment. It's like you do something like pick up
Oh,
a pencil and all of a sudden you can't
you're like,
move.
ah, right, yeah.
And clearly it wasn't about the pencil. Um, and so afterwards, anyway, make a long story short, I ended up being hospitalized. They put me on Tramadol for pain, and I left the hospital against medical advice for other reasons and got off the Tramadol. And when I became off the Tramadol, I was in no back pain, none whatsoever, like completely
Wait a
zero,
minute. So were you on Tramadol the whole time?
just in the hospital for five
Okay.
days. And before that, I had gone to my friend who was a network chiropractor, which is kind of like Reiki, chiropractic Reiki.
I used to go to that. I love it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Well, I didn't know what it was. So I just called her my voodoo doctor because she never touched me, but I always felt better afterwards. And I had no idea what was happening because I'm not the type of person who feels energy because my energy field is so big. It's like global. So I don't feel energy close to me. And so anyway, I was like home and I was like, I don't have any pain. And I didn't want to tell anybody because I thought it would come back. And I was
Right.
like so excited, but I didn't want to share because I didn't want it to I didn't want it to attract back to me. Right. And so I went about a week and then I just couldn't contain myself anymore. And I went back to the same friend who did the network chiropractic. And I was like, I have a secret. She's like, what?
What?
And I'm like, I don't have any back pain. And she's like, why is that a secret? And I was like, because I don't want to come back. This feels
Oh.
good. And so she took x-rays and she did tests, and she realized that my back wasn't broken anymore. It was like, not only had it healed, and it was horrific, it was like twisted and all the things. Not only had it healed from the accident, but I had scoliosis before the accident, and that was healed as well. And I attribute it to her, because I was like, I don't know how this healed, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, the Trimadol reset my nerves. So apparently I had healed my back, but my nerve receptors were still sending pain signals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally understand, like, the whole you can heal yourself and what stuck energy can do for you. And yeah, I'm a living testament of all those things.
That's amazing. Oh my God. I'm so glad you're out of pain and your back is all like, woo.
Yeah. And somebody came up to me years later and was like, will you teach me how to heal myself? I'm like, I don't know how to do it.
Yes, it's the energy.
Yeah, it's the energy and the positive intentions, and it's a little bit of like putting it out to the universe, and that letting them take care of it, because I'm not I don't have the skill set to do it.
Have you read Dean Radin's book, Real Magic?
No, I have not.
Okay, you would love him. He's got two books out, Real Magic and I think The Science of Magic. And he talks all about how, we really have all this power to heal ourselves and do all these things. And in the new book, he has all the scientific proof, because he used to do all like the psychic research and all that stuff. And they were saying that they were calling it paranormal activity, but it's actually normal for us. And we're made to believe that we don't have that, but everybody has those abilities. And I don't know if this is a spoiler alert. At the end of the book, though, he goes, magic is real. Get over it. I was just like, so I just love, I love how he explains everything.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer considered like, so he's trying to let people know this isn't a woo thing. It's not fake. We all have this ability. And that's what I want people to know with sound. It's the same thing. It's just about getting into harmony. And we can do this through music, color, sound, the water we drink, all these different things vibrate.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear all the time, like, bless your water before you drink it. And I drink so much water that I could have so many blessings, and I forget every single time.
And it's as simple as like taking like your mug, right? And just like before you sip, like I like to hum into it because it gets the vibration going. Mm-hmm. And then as I'm humming, I think of what I want. So I'm like, I want joy today, and you just like hum into it and you go, and you just make it move a little bit. And it's that simple. You can even take, a lot of people make sun water. They'll get like a cobalt blue bottle and they fill it. And they always use filtered water. It's really important to filter your water. Mm-hmm. Make sure it's filtered. And put a label on, like, do you want joy? Do you want creativity? What is it that you want? Happiness. And put it out in the sun. And between the color blue and your intention, it actually makes that water that frequency. And Masaru Emoto proved all that. And there's another person I love, Veda Austin. I don't know if you know who she is, but she does all these beautiful water images, and she'll like think of something and it creates in the water. She can think of, like, she does it more with pictures. Like she'll be thinking of, an eagle, and the eagle will appear in the water when she freezes it. Like crazy, crazy, amazing.
Awesome. There's also a documentary on Amazon Prime that is called Heal, and it's all about people who've healed themselves. And there was this one guy who became a paraplegic, and he healed his spine and walked again.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible.
I love hearing stuff like that. We are powerful. We just have to believe it.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing, because one of the things I always think back to this when they told me that, you're probably going to end up, you should prepare your house to be, like handicapped, and you're going to have to go on disability and all this stuff. And I was living downstairs in my house, and my biggest dream was like, I want to get upstairs, right? And I'm reading all this stuff about, healing yourself and having just like this vision. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm just got to think about it. I'm just going to picture myself going up the stairs. And you're going to laugh. I bought Wonder Woman socks, right? So I put these Wonder Woman socks on, and I'm going, I'm pumping myself, I'm singing the song, Wonder Woman, you're a wonder, Wonder Woman, and I'm getting over to the stairs, like, and I'm like, okay, get like one step up, and I'm singing Wonder Woman, I got my socks on, I'm all proud, and I get up 2 steps, and what do you think happens? I'm singing, what do you think happens?
Get up the stairs.
Well, that would have been a better story, but no, I actually, my leg started to collapse, and I wanted to lean forward to catch myself, and my cat jumped right in front of me. Then I went, and I fell backwards. And I'm laying there, I'm crying. I'm like, why? I'm doing everything right. I'm thinking about everything. Why didn't I make it up the stairs? And it took me years to figure this out. And the reason I didn't make it up the stairs, even though currently I was believing I could do that, I had so much programming from the doctors that this will never happen. So it was being overridden. So now whenever I teach people, it's like we have to get rid of those thoughts first to put the good ones in. And it is like you constantly have to remind yourself. It's really important. And so I always think of that. I'm like, oh my God, that's why I didn't make it. But I laugh because it's a good reminder that even though we can have positive thinking, we have to remove all the stuff that we've gotten from family members, doctors that are like, oh, this is your new life now. You're never going to be able to walk again. This is a lupus thing. I'm so tired of hearing this is a lupus thing. And I'm like, but
yeah,
we can
you're
do it.
speaking my language in this whole, like, why do I have to believe that belief? Like, and so anyway, I'm going to get a little scientific.
I love that. I'm a geek for all that.
So for all the listeners out there, law of vectors. So math, right? You remember let's all go all the way back because you and I have been out of school for a little while. Right?
I've been out of school a lot longer than you.
Not that much longer.
I think 20 years.
No, about maybe less than 10. Anyway. Okay. So law of vectors is you have this dream, right? And you're shooting for it. Let's just say you want $1 million because, it's easy to relate to wanting money. So you want $1 million. Here's the amount of money that you want. And then what you're talking about, the programming, the whatever, but let's just put it in terms in case people aren't on board with this programming thing, is like gravity. Gravity is what is pulling your dream down. So that's the vector that's pulling it down, causing it to have a lower trajectory, right? So you want $1 million. You have these beliefs that money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to work hard for your money, that money is the root of all evil, that all these things. By the way, universe, I don't believe any of these things, just putting it out there. Right? So all these things, you're not worthy, blah, 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 money doesn't come to you. All these things are like pulling that dream down. And then you end up with 10,000 because you have all these weights hanging on that thing. So it's just like gravity. It's just like, I think I used this story the other day of like the tether to the shuttle when the astronaut wants to go out. So if the astronaut wants to leave the shuttle, then they have to be tethered. Otherwise, they'll just float into the oblivion, right? But it's those tethers that are keeping us from our dreams. So even if you don't believe in woo-woo, you can believe in gravity.
Yes.
Believe in thoughts are powerful, and negative thoughts are just as powerful, if not more so, than positive ones. Actually, let's not say that. Negative thoughts are powerful, and so are positive ones.
Yeah, we want to override them with the positive. I always think, I was reading about Navy SEALs and how they're trained to be like one brain. And so that they go into these assignments. But there's one thing like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. They know how to do that, but why did they do this? So they were talking about how they brought in like this top trainer for like disasters and how no matter what happens, he gets you out. So he had them all visualize, if the helicopter goes down in the water, this is what you're going to do, right? And they had them in detail, like they're going to swim to this point and they're going to do this and they're going to do that and they're going to reunite in this different place. And he had this whole group who was used to working as one brain, right? Picturing all this. So what do you think happens? The helicopter goes down and they have to do exactly that. And then they're like, thank God the guy trained them. And I'm like, no, because you have these powerful brains and they're all trained to react as one. So that's collective power. And because they were practiced, I think that's why everything went down. But I'm thinking, they know that. So I don't understand why they would have them practice that, because it's counterintuitive. If they know that stuff and they're powerful. So I just thought that was a strange story.
Yeah, this happens to me a lot in supporting businesses that are like nonprofits, or they're personal growth related or what have you, because they always come to me and they're like, oh, we don't want to think about that, we just want to put light on it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, yeah, love and light, we don't want to put any energy to that. And I'm like, okay, so where's the line for not bringing energy to something, but also, you know uh having proper procedures in place, like your legal entity or your tax structure, or like, where's that line? And they're like, we don't. I'm like, okay, well, how about if you just hire the professional and let them think about it?
Right? And then they do that, I hope.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's an interesting thought, because it's like, where is that line between this is a belief that I can change, or this is a concrete thing that is going on in society that I have to navigate in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
I've always had a problem with that, because my big thing is I've always been worried about Wi-Fi and its effect on people. So when I became a sound therapist, I was so excited, like, oh my God, like it cured everything, right? And then I learned about 5G and Wi-Fi, and it kind of has the same effect as autoimmune does on you, because it's making your cells break down faster than they can repair, right? So we need extra sleep now because of it. But if you're sleeping with your phone, you're not getting the proper repair. So I wanted to get this word out, but in a way that doesn't scare people. And it was kind of like that thing. So I had belonged to this 5G group, and we were like, educating people about it. But some of the people in the group were like scary, like, you're gonna die and you're gonna get cancer and all this stuff. I'm like, no, 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 because then I feel like if you're putting those words out, you're manifesting it. So I always feel like I want to go in with a solution. So instead of saying this and this is going to happen to you, and it's, they would tell me, oh, you're a terrible mother, don't let the kid have the iPad. I give solutions. So I say, if the kid's on the iPad, make sure you put it, there's like a setting to make the screen orange, so it doesn't affect the eyes. And if it's on the orange screen, doesn't affect their circadian rhythm, and they'll sleep beautifully. So if you want your kids to sleep longer, I give the positive things. Put the screen on orange and download any games or movies they're watching so you can shut the Wi-Fi. So if the Wi-Fi isn't on, they're not going to become hyperactive, they're going to sleep, and their eyes are going to be rested. So I tell all the positive things. So I feel like you need to put the spin on it. Like, you can't go out there and say, you're going to get sick, you're going to die, like all these horrible things. No, tell them how good they're going to feel when they make these little adjustments.
Nice.
But there is that fear, though. I'm trying to, you don't want to scare people.
Nice. So you've touched upon a few different types of sound therapy. So, and, so like, what are some other ones? What are some, like, because I know that you have a lot of modalities that you practice, and they're all under this umbrella of sound therapy. So tell us a little bit about some of the other ones, because that way, if anyone's interested in learning more about them, they can comment, like, share, hype, do the things to engage with the video to let us know. And then we can have you back and you can talk about that.
Oh, yay, cool. Okay, so there's so much, but I'm going to narrow it down to like my top three. There's not even a top three because they're all important. But the most important thing, and it is all about vibration and light, is your circadian rhythm. And everybody today, we all have our circadian rhythms screwed up because of computers. Ideally, and this is one of the ways I did get better from lupus too, besides the music. I was trying to do everything I could. And one of the things I learned with lupus, they said, you're not supposed to go out in the sun. And this is how I learned about the circadian rhythm. I'm like, what? And I started doing all this research. And I found this neurosurgeon, Jack Cruz, who has become like this big icon now. That people either love him or hate him, because he kind of like ripped up the whole field for everybody. But he said, we have it wrong. We should be wearing no glasses outside and sunglasses inside, right? Because I'd also read that I shouldn't be under fluorescent lighting. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't go outside. I can't be inside. I'm supposed to live under a rock. So I got very heavily into circadian rhythms and light. And now they're proving all this is true. So you're supposed to get up with the sun. right? Which none of us do really, to get outside and have the red light. We get up, we look at our phones, and we're getting blue light. So you're supposed to get up with the sun, and you get this beautiful red light. And he says, get out there and stand barefoot, ground, and have the sun coming in, because it stimulates the pineal gland, and that releases all your hormones. And that's what causes the balance with melatonin and cortisol, so you can sleep at night. You need that first sun. And then same thing at night. You would get, sundown, you should be out there. And at that time, we shouldn't have all these lights on in the house. He even says, I have my little orange light bulbs that I put in, so it's sundown. I put these in. So what we have to do to hack that, because none of us are living like that. Even me, I really want to be in bed at 10 o'clock. Healing hours at 10 to 2. That's when your body repairs and all these great things. So what do? We're stuck on the computer. So if you notice, these glasses I have a slightly yellow tint. So this is to mimic the daytime. I'm getting just a little bit of, I had the red light in the morning. And I only want to block out a little bit of the blue light, because at this time of day, we need blue light. That's what actually stimulates. I'm awake, I'm in my beta brain set, and I'm working, right? I'm working. But then when 6 o'clock hits, or whatever time sundown is for you, you need to mimic the sun going down, right? But we can't. We're on the computer, or we're looking at a phone. So what do? You can put an orange tint on your screen on the computer, and you can set it automatic, and you can set the same thing on your phone. But I have orange glasses, which I need to clean, but they actually clip on, right? So now this is my 6 p.m. and I'm ready to go. And then 9 o'clock, I'm up till 3 o'clock in the morning at the time. So then once it hits 9 o'clock, I really want to be able to sleep when I go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, which I don't advise. We should all be going to bed 10 o'clock. I'm still working on that. I put on my red lenses, right? And they just clip on. I love fun gadgets and things like this. So it makes life easy. Now, if you're oh, I don't want to wear glasses, it's a pain in the neck, because I have a prescription, I always have to wear glasses. You can buy these red lights, these red light bulbs. I have it I don't know if you can see them, my little lamp. And you put that on the side of your screen. So if you're on the computer and you have this red light on, it's balancing out the blue light, and it's actually surrounding you in red. And I keep the regular overhead lights out. This way, when you're done on the computer, you can go to sleep. And now when you go to sleep, don't bring your phone with you, because I used to be addicted to Pinterest. I would lay in bed and I'd be looking at all these projects I wanted to do, which again is bad because it's stimulating your mind. So now your mind doesn't want to sleep. You're thinking about crocheting and wire wrapping jewelry. And I would the phone would fall on my face. And that's how I'd oh my God, I'd wake up and put it to the side. So don't do that, because it's distracting, because it's keeping your mind up, but the frequencies are bad. The light coming in is bad. So if you have to keep your phone, because it's I use it as an alarm, what do I do? Put your phone in airplane mode, and you can still set the alarm. And there's a way, too, that you can override the airplane mode if you have an emergency, if there's certain people that you have to, if your kids are out, or you're worried about elderly parents, there's a way to, put it that their numbers can get through. So those are, my little hacks. I'm very passionate about your circadian rhythm, because that is everything. And it's also why we hear about nighttime workers getting sick. You always hear people that have night shifts, nurses and stuff, they're more susceptible to disease. That's why, because it's throwing everything off, and you're not living in your optimal state of balanced hormones and frequency. So I'm obsessed with that. My next one is water. I am so obsessed with water. And there were all different things. The main thing is everybody has to filter their water, because there's so much stuff in the water. And fluoride, they've proven crystallizes the pineal gland, which gets rid of all connection and all these other things. So get a really good water filter. They even have little tabletop ones. I ended up with a whole house water filtration system, because I'm obsessed. Because one of the things I learned is that you think, oh, I'm drinking bottled water. I'm not bottled water. I'm drinking my spring water, and it's healthy and it's clean. But when you take a shower, it's like drinking 6 gallons of water. And that's all going into your skin. And I'm So my new favorite thing on earth is I got a Kangen water filtration system. And it also electrifies the water, so it's putting energy in, and hydrogen, so it puts a molecular hydrogen. So when you drink it, you're flooding your body with antioxidants. So you can do so much water. So you can go as low tech as just buying a Brita water filter and putting it on your counter, right? And then I said, I like to get frequencies in it. You can put the water in a blue bottle and put it outside. You can get a whole house water filtration system, which I love. But I like the Kangen water because it's a little box this big, and it just sits on the counter, and it just comes through all day. And you could set different pHs. So you can make like beauty water because that's more acidic for your skin, and you could like spray it on your skin. You can use it to like wash your fruit and vegetables because that's more acidic and it gets rid of the bacteria. So I like that because it kind of does everything. And then they have a shower unit. So I'm like, okay. So those are like the high end things. But like I said, you can go as low tech as little pitcher, and they do sell like little like cheaper water filters you can put on. You want to make sure the fluoride and the chlorine and all those things are coming out. But
Yeah.
there's so much. And then the Earth's magnetism, just getting outside and being barefoot and connecting, that brings you back to your 7.83 frequency, the frequency of the Earth. And if you can't get outside, I don't know if I still have my thing left from before. I don't have it yet. I did a demo about this. Say you just like flew, you just got off the plane, you're in your hotel, and you feel very ungrounded. A stainless steel spoon, you're going to laugh. If you take a stainless steel spoon and do figure eights with it on the bottom of your feet, it grounds you because it helps your polarity. It somehow balances it. And it was Donna Eden. I don't know if you probably know her. She does all the energy work. I love her. She always teaches that technique. And she's like one of the original, I think she's like the original energy healer. She's amazing. And she taught me that trick. So I always have a spoon when I travel in case I can't. I can't, because it's really good when you travel to get like to a beach, like you land. Like I went to California, my friend's like, come on, we're gonna go to the beach and ground. And we're like, oh, we put our feet in the water and in the sand, and that's the best thing. But if you're landing at like 1 o'clock in the morning and you have to go to your hotel and you're feeling terrible, when you do that, that gets rid of the fatigue and like the jet lag. You just feel so much better. So it's just a stainless steel spoon, but check it. In order to check it, just get a magnet, and if the magnet sticks to it, you know it's stainless steel. Because a lot of, like, I thought my spoons were stainless steel and they weren't. I'm like, what? I was very mad. So then I went to actually thrift stores, and I was like, took my little magnet with me. So you can get like a nice spoon from a thrift store. Because I think a lot of times they're not even doing, a lot of metals are mixed now. So you got to watch it.
Nice.
So those are my favorite three.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, we have my parents where I'm staying right now. They have a whole house filtration system. So
It makes a big difference.
yeah. Yeah. And you can see it. You can visually see it when you walk the neighborhood. Anybody who doesn't have the system, it like creates stains on the outside of the house because we have to water so frequently here because it's always so hot. The sun here is so invasive. It's like I'm going to create a store that's like Florida sun approved because I bought my parents some LED strip lights so that they could put them in the driveway so they could tell where their driveway was when they came home late at night. 3 months and they were melted. Like they no longer lit up.
Oh, no.
And it's just from being in the sun. So so many things just die here because the sun is so powerful here that
man.
yeah, that they don't survive. So yeah, anybody out there wants to create a store that's like, or a section on Amazon that's like Florida sun approved.
I think you should do that though.
Yeah, so we have all that, and I love water. I drink it all the time, and like most people are a wine snob or a beer snob. I'm a water snob.
Me too.
So I can like literally taste if something is off, and I'll be like, Mom, you need to change the filter of the water.
No, it's important because now, like, I realize I used to think that, like, because they say like bottled water, like Poland, like I love Poland, I used to love Poland Spring, but once it is in the bottle, they call it dead water, and I thought that, well, it's just not giving you, it's not doing anything for you. But I actually found out they call it an electron stealer. So when you, I love like Dr. Jerry Ten. He talks about everything in terms of electron donor and electron stealer. And the more electrons we have, the more energy we have. So if you're drinking like fresh spring water, and this is why, like, again, like I'm obsessed with the Kangen water because it electrifies it. You're drinking that type of water, you're giving your body energy. But if you're drinking dead water, it's actually taking energy from you. And I'm like, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't, like, so I call it like an energy vampire or electron stealer. So I didn't realize that. So it's actually, I don't want to say like harmful, but it's taking from you. So now if I'm at a restaurant or something and they're giving me like tap water, I'm like, is this filtered? And I can't believe restaurants do not filter their tap water. A lot of them don't. And I'm just like, then they'll give me like some kind of like something in a glass bottle. Do you have spring waters in a glass bottle? So yeah, I'll spend the extra money on that because I want to feel energized.
Yeah. You can always tell because if they serve water naturally or by default with fruit in it, it means it's unfiltered.
Yes. And I did learn, this is a really cool trick though. If you get a glass of water and it's like yuck, and you take a whole lemon, not just a cut lemon, a whole lemon, and you put the whole lemon in there and you leave it in there for 5 minutes, it actually absorbs all the toxins.
Mm-hmm.
And you take it out, but then don't eat that lemon because everything's in that lemon. And so it makes your water healthier. But when you go to the restaurant, they give you the cut ones that all have all the germs because the lemon's already absorbed everything. And now you're adding more crap to your water.
Yeah.
So,
It also
yeah.
makes the water taste like lemonade, which I
Yeah.
don't. I want just fresh, clean water. So
Yeah.
anyway, so you've told us a little bit about your story. Is there anything else you want to elaborate on?
So for me, like I said, I had lupus and I was told I needed to take like all these drugs and stuff. And I was so desperate because I really couldn't walk it. Because one day, actually, I literally woke up paralyzed from the neck down at one point. And they put me on all this prednisone. And even though like I'm against a lot of drugs, you need them in a crisis like that. If you're paralyzed, you can't wait for your natural supplements to kick in. You just can't. So regular, like the drugs that they give you at hospitals, we do need certain drugs, but they were never meant for everyday use. You know, because people have chronic conditions, so they keep them on these long-term drugs. But we need like an emergency dose. So the emergency dose of prednisone got me walking again. It got the inflammation down because otherwise everything was shutting down. So I needed that. But if I had stayed on it, you know, you have things like it enlarges your heart, it deteriorates your bones. And I'll never forget because I was in the drugstore buying a prescription. And I was really nervous about it because I'm telling the druggist, like, I really don't want to take this. And the guy in front of me goes, yeah, he goes, you're 100% right. He goes, I had to take that for years. And he goes, and one day I was standing there, my hip just broke and I fell over. I'm like, what? And it robs calcium from your bones. So
Oh.
I had this fear. So I'm like, oh. And then he's like, well, no, you could only have to be on this for a little while. And then he was going to put me on another drug. And I did what all doctors tell you not to do. I read that little pamphlet on the inside. And it said, side effects may include blindness. I'm like, what? And I went to the doctor, and I'll never forget his answer. And he looks at me, and he was laughing because I didn't want to take. And he goes, that almost rarely never happens. Almost rarely never. Like, I remember English. There wasn't like two negatives, a positive. And then I'm thinking, if you were on a plane and the pilot came on and said, welcome to Almost Airlines, we almost rarely never crash. Would you want to stay on that plane? Almost rarely never. So that is what set me off on the healing journey. And sound was the thing because sound is pure energy. So it recharges you. So my main thing, I did before I found sound therapy, I was doing gluten-free, sugar-free, only grass-fed meat. And I got all the inflammation down in my body. And that's what got me walking. But I had severe brain fog, no energy, and no passion for life because I was an artist. I was always sculpting, had all these things to do. So even though my hands were repaired again, like after, you know, doing the right foods, and I couldn't sculpt. I didn't have the creativity or the energy. So sound gave all that back. That's why I said sound frees you because it gives you that energy. It puts you in harmony, so it reduces that stress. And when you're out of fear, see, when you're in fear, you can't think, you can't be creative, you're in survival mode. But when you're relaxed, the whole world opens up to you, and you also feel this connection, and you realize we're connected, right? When you're in fear, you can't be connected. When you're in harmony, bigger things come to you because now you're connected. And I always like to say it's how you manifest. And I found this out. This was so cool. I had a client. Do I have time? I'm going to run over. Is it okay if I tell you about one manifestation thing? Okay. So this one client, she came in, and I'm like, what do you want to work on today? And she goes, SueZee, I need $10,000. I want to remodel my kitchen. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, while I'm doing the sound therapy treatment, because Jonathan Goldman had said intention plus vibration equals manifestation. He also says healing, but at one point he said manifestation for people. He said, that's the missing link. So I said, while you're, I'm doing the treatment and you're getting in harmony, picture the kitchen. Imagine like being in the kitchen, right? The kids are all sitting around the table and they're like laughing and happy and eating food, and you're at the new stove and you're cooking the food in your new pot and you're smelling everything and there's all this laughter. And she wakes up and she's like, oh, this felt really good. And the next week she comes back with like 3 friends, and I'm doing treatments for them. I'm telling them like, you know, oh yeah, we're going to help you manifest stuff. And then like 2 weeks later, she comes back with like another 5 friends. She's bringing all these friends to me like, wow, I must be a really great sound therapist. So 4 weeks into it, uh, she comes in. Oh, they can't come next week. They're finishing my kitchen. I'm like, what? What do you mean finishing your kitchen? When did they start? So, oh, she goes, well, when you did that treatment, I told you. You told me what? Well, after the treatment, I won $10,000 on a scratch off. I'm like, no, you didn't tell me that. And then I was like, wait a minute. Of all these people coming to me because they think I'm like a lucky Buddha or something that they're going to all win because they came to me. And she's like, well, yeah, yeah. But that's the key too, though. It's like not everybody, you have to have like an ironclad mindset. Like this woman, it's not about just saying it. You have to feel it. Right? You have to feel like it's already happened. And she was really doing it in that moment. And that is like the key. But it connects you to that energy too. So it's to me, sound is everything. Vibration is everything.
Well, I mean,
we are vibrational beings, yeah.
Yeah, you manifest by being in the vibration, and sound is vibration. So yeah, awesome. Well, this has been a delight. So how can our community members get in touch with you if they want their lucky Buddha?
They want above the lucky Buddha tummy. I invite everybody because like I said, I am passionate about this. When I first learned, I used to joke, I'm going to scream about it from the rooftops, but I'm afraid of heights. So I'm really happy when I get to be on a podcast. So every Friday, it's a complimentary experience. Fridays, noon Eastern time, I do a frequency fun shop. And you get to come and play with sound. We do things with our voice. We move around. We do all types of silly things. And I show you the power of the sound of your own name, how you can use your own name to heal yourself and actually attract the right people to you. So that's my secret that I always invite people to learn about how powerful their name is. So that's every Friday, noon Eastern time. And my website's acoustictherapeutics.com. And if you go to SueZee Finley, my Facebook always has the fun shop posted.
Nice. And
so I'd love to see you guys.
We'll put those links in the description so they're easy to click and find later.
Yay.
Especially if you're driving. Do not do this while you're driving. And also, let's just give a general PSA. Like, I'm not a doctor. I don't think you're a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. Okay. I don't even play one on TV.
So, these can help, but if you need medical advice, please get it. We're not giving medical advice on this show ever.
we're inspiring freedom, fun, and playfulness through sound and all different modalities.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I love your energy. You're always just so joyful and free. And these are my trigger words for happiness and love and contentment and all the things. And so you just are like the physical embodiment of what I want in life.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, for teaching our community about sound therapy, about you, about the power of vibration, all the things. So thank you.
Thank you. A big kiss for you. A big hug. Thank you so much.
Is there any last words that you want to share with our listeners?
It's very important, no matter what modality you do pick, it's something that has to be fun for you, that you'll want to do it every day. Because that's the key. Because like I have all different things, like, color, light, different frequency devices. Like, which one should I get? And it's the one you're going to use. Mm-hmm. Because like my favorite one might not be your favorite thing, right? Mm-hmm. Some people want to tone. Some people want to bang on a drum. Some people want to do tuning forks. So it's what makes you happy that you resonate with, pun intended, you resonate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's something you want to wake up and like, oh, I can't wait to do that. And that's the thing that's going to make your life full of joy and harmony, because you want to do it. And when you're living in harmony and with the things you really want, you're going to have a great, happy life. And healthier too.
Yes, because they say consistency is key. It's much better to do something a little bit every day than to do it infrequently for a big thing, like a big thing infrequently. So consistency is key. And if you're just looking for something situational, doing it consistently to help you get through that short-term thing, so you might, not with sound per se, but if your specific, like, I want to find a better way, is something that's situational and containerized, you might find a different modality that's specific to that.
There's something for everybody. And yeah, love it.
Yeah. So thank you to the audience for being here, for listening, for sticking through to the end. It's been such a joy to just like have this fun conversation with you, SueZee. You're always such a delight. Please, if any of this resonated with you, like, hype, share, comment, engage in any way that feels resonant for you, because technology likes compassion and love too. And when you give it its due, then it shares out with the world and we get in contact with those who need us. So please do all the things, give all the love to the technology. And remember, if life feels hard, your tasks seem impossible, or you just don't like the options laid out before you, there is always a better way. My name is Melanie McSally, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I want to share something special with you. Every couple of weeks, I bring the Wyze community together for an experience. Many of the guests that you've listened to here on this show become my special Wyze guest guide, where they take us on a customized journey featuring their gifts and aligned with the theme of the Wyze experience. This year, in the Universal 1 year, 2006, we are planting the seeds of abundance and flowing with the duality between planning and living. Throughout the quarters, we follow the seasons of a garden, starting with winter, reflect, rejuvenate, and replenish, and closing the year out with fall, harvest, celebrate, and retune. These experiences were designed with compassion, joy, and abundance in mind. They are a mixture of reflection, connection, release, upliftment, and growth. They are open to all heart-centered souls at no cost. Near the end of each gathering, I invite participants to offer a suggested contribution of $8.88 US dollars, a number that aligns with abundance, prosperity, and infinite flow. You're welcome to give in accordance with the value you received and your means. All contributions go directly to the Wyze guide of that experience. You can learn more and apply to attend at stepinto.wyze.community/belong. The link is also in the description. And if you're interested in attracting more abundance, I've created the Year of Abundance program. When you join the Year of Abundance, you receive access to 2 live Wyze experiences each month of 2026. All replays of every gathering, so you never miss a moment. Weekly integration prompts to support your growth. Access to the private program space on our online Wyze community platform for connection and discussion. Contributions to all Wyze experience guest guides are included, past and present, plus a special physical gift mailed to your home. You can join at any time for a single payment of $288.82, that's US dollars. When you do, you'll receive access to all recordings for the year of 2026. And your contributions will flow to the Wyze guides who have already shared their wisdom, all in alignment with the natural flow of abundance. You can learn more and join stepinto.wyze.community/abundance. The link will also be in the description. Remember, joining the Abundance program is never a requirement for attending any live experience. Everyone is welcome. There is always a better way, and I'd love to support you in finding yours.